Good day, everyone. Welcome to part 5 of my Roku drawing. As you can see, I did some off-camera work. Added more deeper colored. Started working on the wings. And then worked on the light and started on the bottom. Alright, so let's get started. I'm going to continue outlining the wings. You can drastically see the difference. And as you can also notice from the last video, colors are much more vibrant. Got some of the highlights in. Definitely darkened it up in areas. Made everything pop a little bit, so. So I talked about the sword before, and the whip is not a weapon per se. As I said before, it's a binding containment whip. Almost kind of think of it as like a Ghostbusters kind of thing. It's his way of encountering and detaining any demons or fallen angels that he encounters. And then the same hand that he holds the whip is the gauntlet, Metatron's gauntlet, which he uses also for the fallen and demons and just it's for situations where it calls for a little bit more firepower. It works on more of a Enochian magic. So we'll have cool effects and sigils. And a wide range of capabilities. So I'll continue to just build the wing feather by feather. I'm going to turn this. Upon playback of my last video, I had noticed my face, my nose was making an appearance. Evidently wanted to stop and say hello. Again, I don't have any camera mounts or professional equipment. I have this situation that I have going on looking down. I built something that would work. So if I want to look or adjust, I have to get up above and look down and see how things are. If you ever notice when I have to check things. So now you can kind of think of Raku as the sheriff. He's the one that kind of gets everyone who isn't obeying the rules, gives them a fair chance, but he's got a balance of the cosmos and a harmony to take care of. So he's got some pretty important things on his shoulders, so he ain't gonna be wasting no time. So yeah, I'm just kind of thinking real quick. Sorry for any of the long pauses. None of this is planned or scripted. It is interesting when I play back the video to notice my speech patterns and all my flaws and things that I have to work on. It's definitely an interesting learning experience. Gives a new perception of yourself, one that most don't necessarily see. Nowadays, more, you got the whole social media thing going on and the whole main character mentality and all that fun stuff that's going to get old real quick. Sorry to say, but psychology is something that I enjoy and human behavior, so. And I've been on the planet for quite a while now, so I've seen many things rise and fall. Not much sticks. Except for control. But for most of us, that's out of our hands. Not to get deeper philosophical or political or getting into any of those avenues. I'm doing art here, so I don't want to ramble on too much about stuff. But he is a sheriff. You can think of him as that. But his partner in crime, Sariel, he's more of the bounty hunter type when it comes to the baddies, when it comes to the fallen. He's got quite the soft spot for humans, but this is just a great invention. The lovely, the lovely white pen. As you saw that little that nice little hiccup right there. That's alright. If that happens, go over it again the best you can. Let it dry. And go back over it with the ink. So yeah, right now my digital setup is stored, well not stored, blocked. Right now we had to move some things around, and that was one of the only places where we had room where it wouldn't be in the way. So I have myself a nice digital art studio. And can't wait to get back to using it. I have to hook up my scanner. If I hooked up my scanner, I could scan this in and digitize it, do some other things. Alright, so I pretty much completed that wing. I got this wing to go. I'm not going to bore you with that, so I'll kind of just skip ahead. As you can see, there's the wing. So yeah, I'll work on the other wing. If you want to know how I got that wing to look like that, from that, and this and that, it would be a white acrylic marker. We'll just go over it. It'll maintain a little bit of the color. A little bit of the color will bleed through. And it'll give a nice, cool little effect. So I will not bore you, I'll work on the other wing and we'll get back to it. And bam! We have the other wing. And while I was waiting for the white marker to dry, I started down here putting this little guy in, little red devil. Interesting excuse me, interesting thing about the red devils. As they are a classic representation of hell and Satan and blah blah blah. But throughout history, there was also some sports teams reflect on this, but the Blue Devils. So there was Red Devils, Blue Devils, and Black Devils. Black Devils were depicted in medieval times as carriers of the underground. You'd see them in hell mouths. I have a post in my post section about hell mouths or hell gates. And there was it the Treaty of Versailles? And some other treaties back in the 14 and 1500s that stopped trading with the subterranean races, including the Black Devils. There was government records, property records, mining records, all in the Austrian parliament. There was a researcher in Austria, German-Austrian researcher, cave explorer, underground researcher, and he came across all of these records. It listed the names of the different races that lived down below. It had depictions. Some of the mining races were that of the Black Devils, where they were all like black. They didn't necessarily have wings, but they had horns and tails, black in color. But when you can think of red and the devil or Satan with horns and goat legs, that is more of a representation of man's lower nature, man's animal nature, man's carnal nature. It's the battle that we have within ourselves. It's not necessarily demons on the outside that's going to get you. It's the demons on the inside. They're your own demons. But to get not off track, I'm just going to kind of go through, add a little bit of color into the wings, and then kind of just finish it up and do some stuff down here. And I would say that this picture is almost done. So we'll just have a little bit more. Get this in position. Here, I can give you a quick zoom. So as you can see, the ugly phase does go away with persistence and perseverance and some faith and skill. Alright. Let me get this back into focus. Sorry for all the little jiggly. All the jiggly wiggly. Jangle jangle. So just a light brush of color. Basically just adding a slight, going across the paper, giving it a slight swipe across, see whatever gets picked up. Not really concerned too much. I hope I'm not in too much of a camp in the way. I don't know. Oh. Just a little bit of color. So one last person I haven't talked about in my story or elaborated on is Sarah Eden. Sarah Eden is kind of just your average girl, just going through life, trying to do her thing, and ends up finding herself in a middle of the angels and demons and a whole lot of interesting and possibly apocalyptic kind of stuff. So in one of my videos prior, I kind of went in a little bit more detail, had some quick depictions of kind of how she started with her visions. Wasn't by her choice. It's not like she grew up with it or anything. So she's going to become like a prophet in a way. Sorry there. Get that a little bit better in focus, I think. Alright, let's test this out. never too sure. You always kind of want to test things out a little bit. See how it works out. In my younger days, I was not patient. I really didn't have too many things that I really finished. I used to work with oil and things were a lot slower. Much slower process. And I get bored, or I'd wait a day or two, and what I was thinking about doing, and all of a sudden I'd change my mind, or I'd have to start doing things differently, going in an opposite direction. So things would take me an awful long time. But once you learn a process, stick to a process, find your style. I'm still finding my style. I work with too many different styles. Alright, sorry about that. So as you see, I'm kind of just putting a little color down. And I'm getting dirty. I'm just swiping my finger, picking up all the excess, kind of getting it a blended, feathered, faded look. You just gotta do it quick enough before it dries. And make sure you don't swipe the wrong way. So when you do traditional art, you kind of learn different ways to get creative and get some effects. And then when you learn to use multiple medias, like I got 3 types of markers, color pencil, ink, so a lot of different things in here. Let's see. Moving on up. And to be honest, I'm not putting too much effort into these little guys down here. Just more or less want to give a slight impression. The focus is more on him, more on Raku. So not much effort at all. And in fact, I'm just randomly putting lines in because sometimes it helps my imagination. My brain will pick up a pattern. I'll see something within that pattern. Bada bing, bada boom, the idea comes. And then you go, oh, that's why. Like, life works in mysterious ways. So does creativity. But you gotta learn to know when to go with the flow and when to hone in. I did this with more of the acrylic markers. Just something quick to add a layer. But as I was saying earlier about the Hellgates, you'll be seeing those later on in the graphic novel. It's kind of what Sarah ties into. It's kind of what her beginning importance is. It's tied to that. more on the red devil thing and about the lower nature of man. That's why it's red. It's related to the root chakra, the base, the carnal, the root. But we as humans have to learn that we are much more than that. Much, much more. So, has any of you guys encountered any angels or demons in your own lives? They all come in different shapes and forms. Got any stories? Comment them down below. If you like, hit that thumbs up. If you're new to seeing this, think about subbing. It's always appreciated. I do plan on slowly building this channel bit by bit, extending out. As I get more familiar with how everything is done and be more familiar with talking to myself, yet talking to people, yet talking to myself still. It's definitely interesting. So yeah, I think this video has been long enough. I think we're wrapping up this series. It's been 5 parts. I may go in and add a little bit to here and stuff, but other than that, let's see. Other than that, I hope you enjoy this. And until next time, have a good one.